on the call. I wanted to kick off the intention for today really is to recap that one question survey, the top 3 challenges, and see how you guys are all going with that. Make sure that you've got all your questions answered to get the information that you need. And then if we've got time, I'd love to do a live where we take the answers and turn that actually in an A to Z diagram. And Takeda has put up her hand to do that. Takeda, do you have all your responses with you right now so we can go through those?
Yes.
Excellent. So we've got, hopefully we can fit that in. And then last but not least, just answer any questions you've got for the exercise that we posted earlier this week. And then a couple of admin things. Sylvie wanted to discuss possibly posting the videos earlier. Hi, Terry. Welcome.
Hello.
Just doing a recap of the intention for today. So then basically end on some admin stuff once we've got everybody here. And that's, about when we post and some spreadsheet stuff. Anyway, we'll get to that later. So that's kind of my intention for today. I thought we could just go ahead and jump straight in because I know Anik is struggling a little bit with nailing down her ideal client. And I would like to invite you in, Anik, just to sort of tell us about what you've found, what you've explored since our last meeting. And let's see if the group can help you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Wait, for the last time we said to highlight it again. What are the top 3 challenges keeping you stuck from getting more quality time for yourself? And there I had some from insight from somebody told me to focus more on women. So I've been thinking about that and looking around. But it's just not really resonating. No, I don't feel the vibration, the feeling. So that's why I'm not sure how to define which are my ideal clients.
Okay, and for Emmerich has just come in. We're just starting with anybody who's troubleshooting still on that first exercise, and Anik is having a little bit of a hard time focusing in on her ideal client. So we're just helping her and see if we can give her some feedback to help her narrow that in. Can you repeat the question that you took out to market again, please, Anik?
Yeah. To the market, I took, what are the top 3 challenges keeping you stuck from getting more quality time for yourself?
Quality time.
Okay.
And Anik, I mean, looking at your website and all of this, the sort of big corporate work that you've been doing through your business over the last 10 or so years, can you talk to us just a little bit so we understand this shift to working more one-on-one, and then also if you could explore what type of people in your current business have you really enjoyed working with the most, and who have given you that vibrational sort of raised feeling?
Well, I've been being in business with transformation, etc., and you're always busy with groups, and often you have to handle a lot of resistance from different people. And after 10 years, I wanted to be able to work more on one-on-one and having it smaller and being able to give more my thing that I want to give instead of having to have like a checklist when you're in transformation. Well, you know you will have resistance at a point and you have some things you have to go through, but you're not delivering your program. So here I want to deliver something that's mine and that can benefit really others.
Yeah. And the ones that you've worked with in the groups in the past who weren't resistant, who actually did achieve transformation, even though it was kind of being forced on them, what were their characteristics like? How would you describe one of them to us?
Their characteristics. I would say there were men and women,
Okay.
but often there was a feeling of insecurity because, there was a lot of questions, taking them out of their comfort zone and having to learn new things. So there was some insecure, but once we got aligned to having the right information and back on a secure basis, then they would jump in and integrate everything they could learn and move on and transform, and I could happily leave. So today it popped into me again with women who were feeling insecure, because I see that also in the business or private a lot. It's often around insecurity. Can I be able to handle my situation, my marriage, everything? I love my husband, but it's not going like I want. I have to carry everything. I don't feel good in my body, even if they are looking great or they want to meet some standards. Am I a good mom because I'm working so much? So it's a lot of insecurity.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you want to put out? I'd love to go around the group and just see what wisdom is out there for you in the team. But if there's anything else you want to put on the table first, please do so.
No, thank you.
Are you good? Okay. Who's got something they're dying to share with Anik? And for those of you who aren't on video, you're going to have to shout out. Terry, come on, you always have something. And Emmerich's got a look in his eye too.
So, Billy, I joined a little bit late. What was the question?
Where Anik's base is struggling just a little bit about nailing down her ideal client, and I guess really starting to claim that and move in. So she's still working through that first exercise, and that's where we're starting. Is we're just helping anybody who's a little bit stuck with that first exercise so that they can be moving forward. So, and based on what Anik just kind of told us, were you reading anything in her energy or any of the words? Were there any triggers for you that you'd like to share with her? And just while you're thinking, Sylvie's got something, and then Terry's got something. Okay, Sylvie?
Well, I was just wondering, Anik, you're doing coaching right now.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of coaching do you do now?
I would say anything. Not specifically. Often people come with one theme. Or I'm stuck in my business to move on, or with type of clients. But it often comes back to a fundamental, because they think they want to fix something, but there are other things that are involved in it. So we get to the core, the basics, get a nice fundament, and then we build back up. That's what I do. I'm more in answering their questions than giving or bringing a solution with a program.
Okay. And did you do the sweet spot workbook that we had before the training started?
No.
Okay, because I feel like I would like to know more about, like, what are your values and what kind of lifestyle you want to lead, and before we can go into what is your niche.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Benny, what you think about that, but I feel like I'm missing an important part of Anik's or.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There could be definitely some help. That workbook will help you definitely do some brainstorming for sure. Terry, what did you want to add? Whoever's banging, can you just go on mute, please?
Anik, one of the questions I have is, with your business background, now, is there a reason? And I know one of the things you brought out was you see a lack of confidence often with women, which I see all the time. is there a way to marry those two and say working with whether it is career professionals, corporate professionals who want to transition into business but just lack the confidence to do so? Or is there a reason you're wanting to pull from kind of the business arena?
Mhm. Well, because of today, I'm most of the time at clients in-house. And I want to be able just to provide a program more online
Mhm.
where I can be based abroad, or I can even be 10 weeks in a different continent
Mhm.
a year. So that's what I want to do. I don't want to stay stuck anymore.
Yeah. And it's
Okay.
oh, go ahead, Terry.
I was just going to say, I think because women now, at least I know here in the US, are opening businesses, I mean, at a significantly higher pace than men are. I don't know if there's a similar kind of thing happening in Belgium, but you can easily, I think, kind of do the group coaching with, again, women in business, whether it's women that are wanting to transition to open their own business, or women who are already in business, who have a business and they are just stuck. Because I hear that all the time. They lack the confidence, they don't have the network and support. That's just kind of my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does that topic area resonate with you, Anik? Are you wanting to work purely with entrepreneurial women, or are you interested in also working women who are actually in careers, who are working for other people? Does it matter? Is it women?
No.
Like, can you?
Yeah, no, I don't especially want to be stuck with women in business or wanting to start their business. I don't want to focus on Belgium because Belgium doesn't have here you even have a coach for a Christmas tree. So I want to get out of Belgium. I want to go more global.
I've never heard of that.
No, yeah. So, but it's definitely women, because women come more and more on my path. And even when I talk with business women, there is a lack of confidence, even if you don't see it at the outside.
Yeah.
So there's a lack also getting in that feminine energy, daring to be in that feminine energy, because often they have an image of what's being feminine. It's with nail polish and makeup. That's not being feminine. So there are a lot of components that can be fixed easily, bringing back to the source. But I think that I'm getting more at ease with just focusing on women
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody.
Okay, so and I think what we really need to do for you to be able to complete this first exercise is to just nail in the problem point, the pain point that these women are having in their own mind. So are they identifying themselves as insecure people, or is their problem that they're telling themselves something else? I'd love to hear from some guys. Anything coming up from our men in the group?
This is Grady. Hey, I had wondered, with a research background, your question's vitally important. You can never ask yourself too many times, what was my question? What was I trying to answer? And I'm wondering if the question being focused on quality time, since nothing came up and resonated, if maybe was the wrong question to get to what she wants to do for a niche.
Exactly, it was a bad question.
Yeah, it's okay. There's no.
Meaning, yeah, no bad question, but maybe it was too broad or not in a particular area of interest. Because when you think about quality time, that probably opened up a lot of different routes people could go. And so the point being is, maybe if it was more specific or in something that was, that resonates better with you, you might get more answers that would help you get into a niche that actually clicked with you. Because I know my question generated a lot of responses that I looked at and I said, those are not clients I want to work with.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good feedback. Emmerich, do you want to add anything to that? you had a look.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. First I want to say, so what transformation are you providing to organizations currently, Anik? Like in like really short time, what would you say? What value are you offering? Just briefly.
The value, engaging more with, I would say more heart-based engagement within the teams and outside, having the right branding towards the outer world, and working in a more efficient way in teams by being connected with each other.
Okay. Now, another question I have is, does that resonate with your own sort of life story, your own path? So what I've found for myself anyways is really like the program that I'm developing is really like, it's a reflection of the transformation that I personally went through in my own life. Mm-hmm. And so it just feels really good to me. And I'm also able to really communicate my program and the transformation I'm offering in a way that's really genuine. And it's like unique because it's my own sort of transformation, my own path. So I'm feeling like, do you have that for yourself? And does that align with what you're currently offering, what you've been offering with
That's why I want to change my business. I've been giving something in what I'm excellent in business-wise, in companies, and that's why I want to go more to giving what I've been through in my own transformation and that I know you can achieve.
Yeah. So how would you articulate that transformation that you've personally been going through?
How would you articulate? Well, I always say that I'm the best example. It's not because you had a crappy, I would say from conception, it's not only from the birth, but from conception, a crappy conception, that you cannot achieve the dreams you desire.
Okay. So you've shifted that in yourself. Okay. Did somebody want to add something to that? Renard? Right. There we go. Oh, we can't hear you. Okay, I think.
Right, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, perfect. All right, so hello. I hope everyone's doing well. One of the things that I've tried to do is, just like in business and life, is just try to streamline things into like one bullet point. And so my question to you is, if you had, 10 seconds to pretty much sell yourself to a client, what would you say to them, in those 10 seconds? If you could, if you had only, let's say 30 words, 10 seconds, what would you say? And this is the only opportunity that you would ever have to ever coach someone. And this person could actually lead you to that ideal client. I'm just curious, like, what would you tell them that you do?
That's a great question. She's thinking.
Yeah. Well, I would ask, how would your life look if you were 99% confident in every area of your life?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep poking at you. Imagine that this person also is, let's say, the mother of a girl that needs some assistance. So the reason why I'm pumping you like this is because I had a situation today when I was going to the chiropractor, and one of the doctors, she said that her boyfriend is, he's now disabled. He was a very prominent businessman in the community. So he has a physical disability now. He's laid off. He's been unemployed for the last 3 years, and he has absolutely no drive. And when the lady asked me, I said, and I kept asking these very intriguing questions about her boyfriend. And she goes, "What exactly do you do?" And I just said, I restore people who once had a great life and I optimize them. And she goes, will you please talk to my boyfriend? And I said, absolutely. I said, we'll have coffee. And I said, we'll have coffee and we'll talk. And it was just like that. It was just a one-liner where all I said, I just took in some information and I just said, I help restore people who once had a good life and they want it back, and I make them better. And, something along those lines. And that's it. So I'm just trying, if they had to go back and sell someone on your services, what kind of ammo would you give them to sell you to someone else? Because she's going to have to sell me to her boyfriend. Otherwise, I'm like SOL as far as a potential client. So I'm always thinking that, what ammo can I give them to sell me? So what ammo are you going to give me to sell you?
Okay, well, I'm not a salesperson and I don't want to be.
You have to
You
be.
don't have to
Everybody
be.
has to be in a little bit. But
Yeah.
You don't have to be.
yeah. Now it's a brilliant question. What came up for you,
Yeah.
Anik? Because I think that something did come up.
Yeah, I saw that when he said, okay, this is what I do, I help women to align with their confidence.
Yeah, I think confidence is your big word.
In that area.
Yeah. So guys, we need to wrap up. We spent a lot of time on Anik, but I think that you guys were, I think some really cool stuff came out. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for shaking up.
I do want to see if we can get your question. Does anybody have a good question that Anik can go out and take out to market? Like, did anything just pop into your head around this? Like, is confidence or lack of confidence going to be something that's going to resonate? Trey moved back. Emmerich moved back. Does that mean you have something to say? Let's see. Anyone? Grady. Or is this is computer? Okay, so nobody's got a question that's jumping out. Anik, do you have a question that's?
No, not directly. It's getting.
It's brewing. It's brewing. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, we'll let you sit with it. Let's see. I'll just say something. So, what are the top 3 challenges keeping you stuck from being totally confident in your life? Is that going to work, guys?
Well, I like what I think Anik said about being confident in every aspect of your life.
Being confident in every aspect of your life.
It's too broad.
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
I mean,
Yeah. Go ahead, Renard.
Yeah. No, I just think that it's very broad. I was very tempted to do that as well. And I think Grady said, you don't want to attract certain people. And I'm hoping that they don't look at it and respond. But what's holding you back from, what are the 3 challenges that are, preventing you from having a confident marriage or something, that couples along with it, just very specific.
Okay. Go ahead.
This is Grady. I've got a question. I happened to look at your Twitter and I saw that you had I can't get it back up on the screen. I saw that you had all the postings about the getting out of your crappy job. Is that something that resonates with you? Because I happen to be in a job that I want out of and I can't seem to bring myself to leave. And I wonder if that might be something that's currently resonating with you, and what are the top 3 challenges that are holding you back from leaving your crappy job?
I've been a long
That's a great
time
question.
in that, in coaching people in finding their dreams, but also it's often about confidence and for women.
Mm-hmm.
But here I think I would mix the confidence, the women, and being a single parent, trying to focus on that. How can I become a confident single mom?
Confident single mom. Yeah.
Guys, just something came up to mind. I'm thinking maybe, Anik, you can use 2-fold approach with your questions, right?
Okay.
I can hear that confidence coming up for you quite a lot, confidence in women. So perhaps you can do a survey, or you can combine those 2. The first part will be, what are the 3 things you're missing out on because of your lack of confidence? And whatever comes up there, so you can look at that and see what resonates with the answers. With those answers, it's something you want to work with. That would be your field. And then the second question would be around what are the 3 challenges that stay in the way of that thing that came out from the first part.
Yeah. Can you say that first one again, Jay?
I'm thinking of what are the 3 things you're missing out on, or what are the 3 things that you don't have in your life because of your lack of confidence. And then it'll come up with something, because I feel that you sort of sit on lack of confidence for women. Again, I don't know if it resonates with you, but it's coming up in your language quite a lot. So I'm thinking maybe if you can find what is it that they're missing out on, that will give you a second ingredient. You know, if it's having a relationship, it's having a good job, if it's just hating something that's happening, just finding something, you know, what is it that they're not getting because of lack of confidence, and then you can extrapolate from that.
Yeah. Okay. This is a really beautiful segue too into what a lot of you guys have done. And a lot of you guys have taken multiple questions to market. And maybe we can have a little bit of chat about that before we move on. So Anik, just in summary, it sounds like you should go to market with what's keeping you stuck from leaving, the top 3 challenges keeping you stuck from leaving your crappy job. And then what are you missing out on as a lack of confidence, or some rephrasing of that? And then what are the top 3 challenges keeping you stuck being a single mom? And just see what each of those things come out. And this is a gold digging exercise, right? A gold mining, not gold digging, gold mining exercise. So you're just looking for the gold. You're looking for the gold. It'll all float to the surface. But I think going out with and doing that 3-tonged approach could be really useful. I know Takita's done a 3-tonged approach. Atia and Dwayne have gone out with at least 2 questions. I think Sylvie, Grady went out with a couple of, Terry, I think everybody actually went out. Renard went out with a couple of questions. Let's just go around and I just want to get a feel for who's got something to say about, going out with multiple questions and what that did for you. Somebody kick us off.
This is Grady. What was interesting, and I don't have my 3 questions in front of me, but what was interesting is that one of my questions had to do with what was keeping you from feeling confident as a new coach. Another was what was keeping you from being confident as a coach seeking certification. And I'm drawing a blank on what the other one was. But what was interesting is the answers I got back, there was a lot of affinity among the answers, even though they were 3 questions to 3 different audiences. The same kinds of things were coming up for each of the groups.
That's awesome. That's really good. That's really powerful. Thank you, Grady. Let's see. Sylvie, do you want to talk about your experience with going out with 2 questions?
Yeah, well, I actually had the same experience as Grady. I had both questions. One was, what are the 3 top challenges keeping you from reaching your goal with a chronic illness? And the other one was, it was top 3 challenges keeping you stuck from reaching your goals, and the other one was, what was it? It was something about around the same thing, but with fibromyalgia. And both questions, although they were phrased differently, got me the same kind of answers.
Okay.
So my people were really like, first it was their physical, the symptoms of the illness. That was their first big concern.
Okay.
No matter how the question was asked.
Which is awesome for you. Like if your program didn't include that, it would not have sold. So you have found your gold. Woo! Okay, cool. Takita, how did you go? Because you asked 7 questions.
Yes, I asked a bunch of questions. I think there were 8 of them actually.
And what's your synopsis of going out with the 8? Like, did you find overlaps? Was it more confusing? Was it helpful?
No, the thing that I actually honed in on with the 8 questions, there was one question in particular that all 9 people answered. And I'm like, that's the one that I should go with.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so you basically were gravitated towards one question that really resonated. So that's awesome. Renard, how about you? Yeah, we can't hear you. You're on mute. I think I can unmute you somehow.
There we go. Okay. All right. So I did go with a 2-part question where the first one was more about productivity of why they're not as productive as they would like to be. And the second one revolved around, let's see, hold on a second. I'm on my Facebook right now. Let me just tell you. 1 second here. Okay. 3 biggest challenges or fears for not doing everything you set out to do when you were younger. So I'm finding that those questions, although asked a different way, I was able to capture a significant amount of responses from people, and the answers are all the same. I mean, everyone responded the same. Fear, failure, listening to other people, rejection, criticism. I mean, there's those 3 things: fear, failure, rejection, and criticism. That was essentially the overarching message between both questions. So it gave me some confirmation.
Awesome. That's awesome. Those are, and those topics, you're going to totally run with those. That's awesome. Okay. And did anybody get a chance to listen to the live coaching, our mentoring session we did with Atia and Dwayne? Where we did, did you get, and so they went out with one question, which was kind of phrased a little bit interesting. So I propose that they actually go out with another question as well, just to make sure that we had the right concepts. Do you guys have anything you want to say about having those 2 different questions, just to add? Yeah. What did you find, Atia?
So can you guys hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay. So we found that, the way originally we put it exactly the way you told us to write it. And what we found was no one was responding. So with our first question, we got about 40 responses. And the way we, with the new question rephrased, and I'm driving, so I can't really pull up the screen to say what that new question was. But with the new question rephrased, we didn't get any responses. So off of what we normally post on. So then I joined a group called the Marriage Group or something, and I posted it in that group, and we actually got about 10 responses there. And then Dwayne rephrased the question. It was the same question, but he kind of rephrased it in a way to make it seem like we were trying to get people's opinions.
Okay.
And so when we rephrased it that way, then we got another 30 or so comments. But what we found from the responses was like there were some overlaps in our first question as well as our second question.
Excellent. So you're getting overlap. That's what I wanted to test and just make sure it was that our framework that we teased out in that session is actually accurate. Okay.
Yes.
So you're still feeling that framework is going to work?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay. Jay, how about you?
Are we talking about multi-question survey?
Yeah, or anything you want to just say about going to market with your question before we move on, and we'll get to Terry and then we'll move on.
So I actually made my survey very simple. I only asked for gender because I'm still not decided if I want to go with men or women. Age group as well, and I also added the question if they're interested to work with me because I use a survey, Monkey Survey, it was anonymous. I put a field there if they're interested to hear about the program that I'm developing. So I got, I think, about 22 responses from that. And the main question was, what are the 3 challenges that keeping you away from having lasting and a fulfilling relationship? So I also put a post on one of the Facebook forums, and I had a massive discussion out of it. It appears that this is largely untapped market. Some of the stuff there that comes up though is related to dating or like finding a partner rather than focusing on a person themselves. So and then I have a question outside of that because I had a look at the exercise yesterday, and then I've got an idea now what my A is, but I'm not quite sure how to extrapolate Z out of A.
Got it.
And steps in between. So hopefully we can talk about that today.
Yeah. Okay, so just to summarize, Jay, with your when you went out to market, so you actually did a survey monkey. You asked multiple questions, but the big one at the bottom, is that right?
Correct. So the big one was actually in the middle. I just wanted to have a wrapping around it because if it came back and didn't know how old people are or what my demographic says. I didn't would know, and then also I wanted to have a hook in case some of those people may be interested get leads out of it as well. But I combined it with the Facebook question as well. Facebook didn't have any of that. It didn't have gender because I can look people up if I wanted to, and see the gender, that sort of thing, or contact them if if there was some interest. But I didn't ask that question about the if they're interested on Facebook groups. Didn't want it to look spammy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting. Everybody else got their answers from Facebook groups. Well, a lot of people did, not everybody. Okay, cool, Jay. We'll come back to you because you want to talk about point Z. I'll just make sure to make a note of that. Terry, anything you want to add?
I was just completely blown away. So after I had my first sucky question that I got like one response, and then you came up with a new question. What I realized is that and I actually had another business coach ask if I was open to some advice, and she said, Terry, I know you're posting this question, and it was about what are the top 3 challenges for women? What are the top 3 challenges that are keeping you stuck from getting? Oh, I just lost my train of thought. Keeping you stuck from getting to the next level in life, in business. And one of the things she said is that I may want to reach out individually to people, because if it's something negative, a lot of times people do not want to respond or may not completely respond honestly. And so what I did was, after that, everything was private. I sent out Facebook messages and I had sent emails and it was primarily my natural market and my warm market. And I ended up with a total of 79 responses. And I was blown away. And she was absolutely right, because people started really talking about some stuff that they would have never said publicly. So I've got my A completely done, and we'll be starting to work on the Z.
Excellent. Okay. That sounds really great. Okay, congratulations, Terry, and thank you for sharing that. So I've learned some new stuff today, like that multiple questions can be good if you're in doubt, just to hit the market with a couple of different things and get that feedback. And then also Jay and Terry have had a fantastic result going more private, creating a more intimate experience, which is probably going to be really good when you go in to ask for validation and then discovery calls. So you're actually even starting your sales process right now, because you're already starting that really personal engagement. So awesome. That's why I love these groups. I learn stuff every single time too. Okay, does anybody have any closing remarks or questions before we move on? And we're going to start looking at Z, because it's sounding like a couple of people need to look at Z. No, just you can come off mute. Okay, sounds like everybody's good. I want to get a feel, because we can spend this time a couple of ways. We can address any questions that you've got about the A to Z diagram and just kind of spend 30 minutes on that, or I can do a live A to Z process using Takita's data, because she's got those 7 questions, and I can just just go through that process with her, and then you guys will get that experience. Just a little bit of but I want to do what's going to work for you and it's going to give you maximum value. Is anybody getting a feeling about what would be the most useful for you? Sylvie?
I'm just afraid, I don't know how many answers they got, but I know that listening to the coaching session with Atia and Dwayne, that part for me was a little bit long, going through all their answers.
Yeah, they had a lot.
Repeat, and so that's the concern that I have.
Okay, it's the time. Anybody else? Have any of you?
Yeah, I'm also thinking, actually, I agree with Anik there. If you want to run another session with someone and record it, we can listen at our leisure. But perhaps like question and answer, interactive question right now would be probably more beneficial.
Your Z. Okay. Well, anybody else have anything they want to add? Okay, so Takita, we might take ours offline and do a strategy session if that's okay. Okay, and then let's just see. So it looks like Jay wants to talk about point Z. Terry's still sorting out point Z. Anybody else have any other questions, comments about the A to Z diagram for themselves? What else do you need to know to learn to totally ace that exercise? Sylvie.
You want me to go now?
Oh, well, did you have a question or anything?
About the Z part.
You have the Z part too. Okay, so yeah, we've got Terry. I'm just making notes. Were there any other questions? about it sounds like actually figuring out Z is a really big one for everybody. Okay, so Jay put his hand up first. So Jay, why don't you kick us off?
Sure. Actually, I have something in addition to that question as well, because after part Z comes the middle part, the actual actions, right? And I'll have a lot of questions about that, but I won't jump ahead. So with Z, basically responses that came back from my survey were about. By the way, to remind everyone, the question was addressed to single men and women, and the question was, what are the 3 challenges that get in the way of you having a lasting and fulfilling relationship? A lot of things that came back from Facebook group, and I haven't done full analysis of my SurveyMonkey. There are, responses like communication and then or trust. And I was asking people, is it trust on your part, or their part? They would say both, right? So, and I was looking and thinking, okay, so does the Z, do I just extrapolate from that, and my Z will be having full trust and excellent communication between you and your partner? So I'm kind of, do I just grab what's happening right now and it's not working, and I just convert it either in the same words or something different that will give them the result that they're not getting, if you know what I mean?
It sort of depends, Jay. Do you have your A to Z in front of you now?
Well, one of them, for instance, was I didn't actually map everything because I need to do analysis of all of them. But one thing came up a lot. So one of them was communication was an obstacle between 2 people. So how would you extrapolate from that?
Well, just keep going. Can you give me more? I want to see more petals before I say anything and before we go around.
The other one was trust. One came up quite a lot. I can't find a man who is more interested, who's interested in something more than sex, for instance. That came up like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
There was some of them I can't work with. One person replied saying they have a kid and they can't go dating because they have a kid. Perhaps that's a limiting belief. Could be a time we should hidden in that. So that's probably like a majority of those that came up.
Okay. And the question was, what's keeping you stuck from a lasting relationship? And personally, Jay, what is the transformation? I mean, I think everybody asked Anik this question too. Personally, what is the transformation that you feel compelled, drawn to bringing into the world? Because that's actually a really important part too. And I think that came out in Dwayne and Atiya's Z as well, is like, what was the change they're trying to make?
Well, I couldn't extrapolate that from what they were telling me, but the way I see it is that, and that's something I want to do, is that I want to help people to start loving themselves, so they're not becoming dependent on someone else to give them that. And with that, I cannot guarantee them that they're gonna meet a partner, or they're gonna let someone just rock up and out of blue and with a parachute and boom, because of my program, right? But at the same time, I want to be happy with their own skin, and then create relationships and connections outside of that search for a partner, so they are happier people. So that was my thinking, right?
Yeah. So what I'm hearing in that, and we'll go around and see what other people are picking up. But I'm hearing in that is sort of you're making them actually lovable and attractive.
Yeah, look, if that's what's going to happen outside of that, because I worked with someone who sort of gave up on meeting a person, and then I felt that it was happening because they just had so many limiting beliefs and everything else. And so if you can remove that, perhaps if they met the right person, then they would be ready to have it.
Yeah, because when you love yourself, you become more attractive to other people. Other people can then love you, right? But they maybe don't know the problem right now as I don't love myself, but they do know it as other people don't love me back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and same with trust, and same with communication. Communication will probably be slightly different. It will be something about speaking from their heart, coming up with stuff.
Yeah, let's go around. I'd love to. I think Bernard looks like he's chomping at the bit, and I'm sure some other people have some they want to say.
Sorry, I was clearing my throat.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I can go. So let me bring up the Excel document here. Just bear with me 1 second. Getting acclimated to this thing here. What's on the screen?
It's good practice for you, so you're ready for when you run your own groups.
Okay, here we go. So, where are they now? Their challenges in their own world, in their own words.
Oh wait, no, wait, sorry. It's not your turn yet. We're talking about Jay.
Oh God, that's the egomaniac in me. I'm sorry.
If you don't have anything to say, I'm sorry, I
Okay.
misread your face. Maybe you were reading an email. Anik's got something for you, Jay.
Okay, hi Jay.
Hello.
You talked about some transformation you would bring, and then you said that you help people to first love themselves. But
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
not always sure if that will bring them a partner.
That's
You
correct.
see?
Yeah.
Because
So
they can't control the external reality for it, right?
yes,
It's like me
yes,
wanting.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But is it then that you would focus more, because then you have two opportunities for me, having people really loving themselves or people wanting to find a partner?
Well, the ultimate goal for them
One
is
can
to
bring
have.
the other, but at the end of the transformation, what excites you most? Seeing people finding a partner with the ways you will bring them from A to Z, or loving themselves? I think that also will define more the ideal client. That's a feeling.
I think that if I cannot guarantee them having a partner at the end, then my program may not be. I cannot be authentically telling them that this is what's going to happen at the end of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I also
Okay.
feel that being that person who loves themselves is a bigger gift than finding a partner, because partners can come and go.
Yeah.
And if you are in tune with who you are, and you know that for me is a bigger gift.
Yeah, it's more clear than for me for where your end stop would be, because there are men like Mendes who only focuses on finding your partner, even if it's not your life partner, but his focus is finding your partner for men and for women.
Yeah. So I mean, this comes down to a really personal thing for Jay too. But let's keep exploring. Anybody else have anything they want to share with Jay?
Yeah. So I just want to ask Jay, so what would his target audience be? Because what I've noticed from some research that me and Dwayne have done is that, so I'll take women, for instance, like independent women. A lot of times they focus on what they bring to the table versus focusing on what a mate would need in them. Does that make sense? So I think depending on the target audience would be which direction he should kind of go in. I don't know if I'm answering the question, but and even with a lot of like corporate men, like my brother, for instance, I'll just make an example. My brother is someone who always focuses on his accomplishments, and sometimes that can turn a female off because I know that you're accomplished, but what can you do for me? So I don't know. Did that help in any way, Jay?
I think that Anik, you and Atia are both like saying you got to pick your ideal client, Jay. So who are you gravitating to, Jay? We're going to put you on the spot.
Oh, I actually I don't have a clue, to be honest. Even with my survey, when I put it out there, I felt that it was broad, but not very broad. I mean, I don't have a particular preference, to be honest. I just see people as having pretty much, equal advantages and disadvantages. So if someone was coming to me and they said, I want to work with you, though they weren't, let's say, particular age group or live in a certain area or doing a particular job, I would still work with them. So I to be honest, even with my research, I wouldn't know how how to create a survey and where I would go and target them. I didn't even think of that.
It's okay. It's okay. I think you're actually a lot closer than you're giving yourself credit for, Jay. I do want to check in with your survey. What was the percentage of responses for male single men versus single women?
Oh, it's definitely women, and that the men were like really lazy with responding. It was probably 7.3% out of 100% I was asking. So it feels to me that they're either less interested in that, or perhaps women are a bit more open to talk about these things. So I feel like I'm gravitating more towards women because there's more interest to working with a coach in that, I would say.
Sylvie. Sylvie wants to say something.
Yeah, Jay, didn't you say that people in your real life go to you for relationship advice?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's been happening quite a lot, actually.
This is a good thing, Jay. Celebrate.
Yeah, who is it? Is it more women or is it more men?
It's kind of both. This again, and the guys who want to talk about relationships on the level that I want to talk to them, they are quite advanced. They would not have black and white thinking and saying, oh yeah, it's all because of that, or this is because of their fault. So normally, I find with women, they take responsibility and they see themselves more accountable for those things, and they kind of operate on a higher level of awareness with relationships what guys do.
So maybe you could start your program with women and later on add men.
Or start with both even. Sorry, Takeda, Tia wants to say something, I think.
Yeah, so I know, like, when me and Dwayne was on the call with Benet, she had us focus, like, because we were all over the place. Like, we were like, okay, we want to work with singles. We want to work with married. We want to work with groups. Like, we were all over the place. So she made us focus and made us realize that you had to start with one and then branch off. So for us, she was like, maybe, you guys should work with married couples. And for us, that worked out really well. So I don't know if this would be Benet's suggestion, but I think because you're a man and you know what men are looking for, it may be best if you start your surveying with men, and then you can kind of help the women out based off of what the men are saying.
Oh, that's true too. I base it on research. Grady, Renard, Harry?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. Are you a dating coach?
I'm actually not at all. It just happened that when I started this program, we looked at different things, and I was going to go into balance, creating balance for busy professionals, because that's what I do as well. It's my day job, and then relationships came up. Yeah, so
when it comes to the relationships, when they come to you, I'm trying to understand, where are they lacking? Because I know that you just talk to people. Some people, they have a physical, their physical appearance, or maybe they don't know how to properly communicate. Maybe they say the wrong things. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things where dating is, to me, it's a system. Step 1, 2, 3, and then it's just like, here's the end goal, and you're good. But along the way, they're tripping up somewhere, and I'm trying to understand, where are they tripping up? Because that's where they would come up to you and say, here's some money, will you fix me? And my question to them would be, what do you want me to fix? And of course, they may not have a clue. And then you just go into this exploratory thing to figure out, all right, what's your method for finding guys or girls? And it's like, where does things start to go bad? Are you asking for marriage? Where? So I'm just trying to get an idea of where you are.
It varies a lot. With one of my clients that I work with, she had a particular issue where she wouldn't have her own personality expressed enough and her needs. I think perhaps that can fall into communication. There are a couple of things like a trust and or not having enough time to go out, being too busy, or not having enough motivation to go out. So it's a huge variety of different answers.
What about dating for busy professionals? How to date when you're a busy professional, you got too much crap to do. I don't know. It's just, it seems like you kind of figured something out.
Yeah, look, that could be an option.
I keep coming back to, I think that's totally an option too. I'm just wondering, Jay, if you're meant to actually bring singles together, and that's the thing, is they just got to be single, and they want to understand how to be lovable and attractive to the opposite sex. And then you just teach them both, because women need to know men and they need to know the rules for women, because they're not knowing them from like the way we've been brought up, and the men are just as clueless. So you can teach both sides of the equation, and then everybody who's in the room benefits, and but you're focusing on singles. I don't know if that's.
Look, I guess I originally started with singles, like in my concept. I love the idea of co-creation as well. Perhaps it will work. The only thing is that then will be some. I wouldn't know how to design a course for it because
We're not there yet.
Yeah. Okay.
We're getting.
So I guess with my original question, how do you extrapolate Z? Are you saying that I need to have my target audience in the equation for Z?
Yeah. Your target audience needs to be in the equation for A to Z. But let's just try on, guys, and give us some feedback, because I'm feeling Jay's got major resistance to going to that dating market because there's a stigma, and he does not want to play with those boys, right? So, but he's very interested in self-love and sort of spirituality. So we need to meet Jay and let him bring into market a program that aligns with his heart and his soul, and what he wants to birth into this world. And I'm hearing that it's around self-love, but possibly it can't be called that because everybody doesn't realize that's a problem yet until they go through his transformational program. But if Jay goes out to market, because he can connect with women and men very well, and I think there's something to bringing them both together, to hearing both sides of the story. And I can imagine Jay's groups, having men and women in the group like we have now, and him teaching this, how the divine feminine, the sacred masculine, and all these rules that we've lost touch with, and then the men and the women adding and expanding on that in a group situation, and it just really being a powerful experience, even though they're all kind of strangers and they're all different genders. So sorry, I just went on an excited tangent. Did you want to say something, Jay? I see it.
No, look, that pretty much sums it up. I think I don't want people to just meet people. I want them to explore something spiritual, and obviously it's not for everyone. I'm not suggesting.
And that's awesome. When you can say that your program is not for everyone, you've got a good program that's marketable. So that's
definitely not.
Hey Jay, something that comes to mind. It sounds more like a book title than anything else. It's I'm just getting how to connect and love yourself and others. And I don't know if that's like a message that you're trying to put out there, but as I'm listening to Benet talk and then you talk, it's just like, how do I connect and love myself and others? And I don't know if there's like a universal message that you're trying to put out there, but I'm still not 100% clear on who you're targeting. Even though you have one person, and I don't know if that one person represents the type of people that you want to, be with. And for me, I imagine I have 75,000 people all wanting, coaching, who are all kind of like, I don't want to say broken, but just had a major setback, and I'm going to have to fix them in some way or help them realize something. And I have to keep doing it over and over and over again. So is this one person that you're working with right now, is she someone that you wouldn't mind doing the same process over with like 1,000 times?
Good question.
Yeah, look, I think she would be perfect candidate for something like that. And then again, I don't know how to classify her. She would be probably age and an agenda, but other than that, I think she's a corporate worker. That again, I can describe so many people where I live. So I can't really find a specific target niche for someone. A corporate worker is probably the closest I can come up with.
Is anything? Thank you, Bernard, for kind of taking the conversation there. That opened up another possibility for me in my mind. Is anybody? See, Grady, we haven't heard from you in a while.
I'm going to ask to pass real quick. My wife's having a problem, and I got to take care of it.
Okay, that's fair enough. Takita, we haven't heard from you either. What's coming up for you when you're listening to Jay?
This is definitely your forte, Benet. I'm over here in anguish about my own and how it took me so long to just get the A's in the circle. So you definitely, this is your gift because I can't do anything.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have something they want to add? Yeah, Anik.
Yeah, I think that what Bernard is going to, because every time we come with a suggestion of where the point of light, there is from Jay, like he's having a hard time defining his ideal client.
Yeah.
Like he was giving me that message last week, you have to define your client. And now he's sitting in my seat, so that's sweet to see. But I understand. But I believe, like Binet and Bernard are guiding towards a path that you can start with one type, and afterwards you can branch it because you know you can handle them all.
Yeah.
But just for the fun of it, just choose one and see how you would play and what the reactions would come.
Yeah. So just trusting your heart and your intuition in this moment, Jay, right now, who's the type of person that you most long to work with for the next year?
So, Binay, when you say what type of person, what characteristics are we talking about?
Any character. I want to know what are the characteristics. The same question I asked Anik, actually.
It will be someone who's employed and has got, I suppose, interest in personal development and spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm describing a couple of my clients that I work with who have enough time and interest to find someone that's longing for lifetime partner.
Okay. And does their gender matter?
No, it doesn't matter at all. As I said, I'm agnostic to whoever wants to work with me, and I've got a couple of friends who are in the same category. I have no.
Are they single or are they in a relationship already? Married or otherwise?
Well, one got married recently, and now one is recently single. So.
Recently single. Okay. So that's the thing that I think that the spark that Renard sort of ignited for me was this idea, because when he talked about his book title, How to Connect and Love Yourself and Others, like that's not just a singles thing.
No, not at all. It can be someone who is already in a relationship, but they don't have that, and they're too dependent on their partner to love them, that sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah,
and the program can actually be quite similar, but the outcome is different because the pain point is different. So.
Well, this is Grady. I had wondered, because something that kept coming up for me was I wondered when he said one was single and one was in a relationship, one was recently single. Something that kept coming up for me was that someone who's been in a relationship and out of a relationship, whether it's divorced or they just break up, are more mature in their thinking, possibly. It's not broad, but more mature in their thinking to be more ideal for Jay's group than somebody who's, as somebody pointed out, who's just looking for sex or just looking for moving from one person to the next.
What do you think of that, Jay? Are you still there?
Oh, sorry, I was talking to mute. Are you suggesting that I niche my clients based on the mindset? Is it or what they want, or where they are in relationship? Is that how I understand it?
I'll let you clarify that, Grady.
Grady?
Well, I was thinking in terms of having been divorced years ago. I will say, or coming out of a relationship. Essentially, when you're burnt, you don't want to get burnt the next time. So there's a serious pain point. Therefore, tends to be a more serious, more mature desire to get it right the next go round. And that, I think, goes to whether it's somebody coming out of whether they're single and dating, or they're married and divorced.
Mm. That's actually a really good one, I think. And also it speaks to a really big pain, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. So I think there could be something in your ideal client. What's a good word for that? Like, they because when you can't hold down relationships, no matter how many of them, it's not the partner. It's like a reflection of you, right? And you've got to change if you want a relationship that's going to last. So that could be an interesting ideal client. So Jay, we need to move on to somebody else.
Of course.
Can you do a bit of a summary of what you've got out today and how you're going to move forward, just so we know you're in good shape.
Well, I think that the biggest thing that came up for me is probably the last point, because that actually from Grady, that resonates quite well, and I can see a lot of people are in that support where that they did have a relationship and they don't want to go to the next one, and it's actually came up in responses as well. People say, someone was saying, "Oh, like it's so many sociopaths there, and so many terrible people, it's hard to date." And I would be thinking, well, it's not like everyone is terrible, right? So there would be a reflection of fear or something that people are dealing with. So I think that was a really good point.
That's, okay, I just got goosebumps. So being burnt, like that could be like Renard's is ones who, people have fallen off of their block. They've lost their game and they're rising back up again. And yours is ones who have actually been burnt and they're scared. And that program is really different than a program that's a dating program, or just a self-love, because first there's a healing process they have to go through. And that has to be that first step so that they can move on. And then you can build upon the healed person. What do you think about?
No, I think it's a really good one.
Okay. So when it comes to your steps, so I guess the point Z for you, if this is resonating with you, is that they are healed and they are ready to find that lovable relationship. I'm going to put healed. So on round my Z for you, I've got healed. They've got strategies. I've put they're lovable and attractive, love self, not dependent on others, and happy in own skin. Those are just some of the key words that really popped out to me when you were talking. Do you need me to repeat those again, or did you get it?
No, I remember it down.
Okay. Now, when it comes to mapping out your transformational steps, you say, okay, they've been burnt. This is my ideal client. They've been burnt and they're afraid to go back out. What step do they need to take first to be able to transition to Z? And it's definitely going to be around healing.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can stack on the skills, the resources, the tools, the strategies, but they've got to fix this inside first. Just like Atia and Dwayne's program, they had to look at the man in the mirror first before they could actually learn any tools about, better sex life and managing kids and all that stuff. Like if they weren't prepared to see themselves and then have a good conversation with their partner, maybe they need to end that relationship. So,
Benay, who's the person you mentioned?
Atia and Dwayne, that's the coaching call. I think somebody was asking about that. It's in the library, in the Academy folder. There's a mentoring session with me going through the A to Z diagram.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Atia and Dwayne.
Oh, guys. Yep. Cool.
Okay. So if you want to listen to that, you can. But you're on it. Jay, this is coming together. If you need to book a strategy with me to clarify anything, please do. We can do that next week. But I think you've got it. I think you can start mapping out those steps, and then it'll be time like we need to meet when it's mud map time. I think you're there.
Sounds great.
Okay, that was a really long session. I hope everybody got value from that. Okay, who needs to go next the most? Because we might be able to fit one or two more in. Like who is really stuck? That's who we need to help right now. Anyone? I have Terry and Sylvie down. Takeda and I are going to have a session soon.
I'm not stuck, but if no one's going to go, I'll volunteer.
Okay. Well, and Takeda, I just thank you, Renard. Did you want to, because you said you've mapped out your A to Z already, would you prefer to do a strategy session, or do you want to bring something to the table now?
Doesn't
Are
matter.
you talking to me or are you?
I'm
Oh,
talking
okay,
to
never mind.
Nikita. I just want to check in because I know she's been very quiet this whole meeting. I want to make sure you're okay.
I've just been up since 3 a.m. So that's
Okay,
just,
okay, so that's that. Okay, I'm reading your energy. I'm just checking in. So will you be fully served if we can have that strategy session and go through this one-on-one?
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
I just want to make sure. Okay, Renard, thank you for putting your hand up. Let's hear what you got.
So for the A's, I have 11 A's. And I'm sorry, I take that back. Hold on. Oops. Let me see how many A's I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 A's.
Okay, you want to read those out to us?
Sure. Fear of failure, rejection, criticism, people pleaser, self-doubt,
This is awesome.
no drive or motivation,
Uh-huh. No drive.
distractions, social influence, no personal opinion or assertiveness.
No, wow. Can you guys see the gold in that? Like, I'm just like, wow. Or is it, okay. Terry can see it. No personal, sorry, what was that last one?
No personal, you can just put a lack of assertiveness.
Lack of assertiveness, okay. Okay, now please go, I'm following.
Okay. So, so I have the A's as far as, where they are now, their challenges and their words, the fear of failure. To me, the fear of failure is simply a lack of planning and preparation for what it is that they want. And so what they would ultimately end up with is confidence, knowing that whatever endeavor that they're going to go into, they're going to have an action plan, more or less like a roadmap. They'll be prepared across the board to address any challenge that they come across.
Mm-hmm. Well, before we dissect these too much further, Renard, can you just tell us what you've got around Z?
So I have 2 things. I have the A's, but I did not do all of the other Z's.
Well, the Z, just for clarification on that point, the Z's, you only need 1 to 3. Like, we don't need a lot. I teased out a lot for Jay because we was still in an exploring, but I imagine he might even consolidate those. So you're on, by the way. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay. I'm sorry, say that again.
You're good. Like, if you've got 1 to 3 Z's, you're done. As long as they're right.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So what are they?
Okay. So, all right. Confidence and the ability to conquer their goals.
Okay. That's great. I mean, can you guys? Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're going to ask a question.
Oh, I was just going to check in with the group. Like, based on Renard's A, can you guys see that confidence and ability to achieve one's goals is enough for Z, even though it sounds like he might have one more? A nod or a thumbs up. Do you see that? Like, are you feeling that he needs more?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, carry on, please, Renard.
Let's see. We got confidence and ability to conquer goals. What did I put? Know their self-worth and express their assertiveness. I need to wordsmith this to daylight. I don't like the way it sounds, but it's, I get the point.
Yeah.
All right. And those are the only 2 that I had.
Okay. That's perfect. Okay. And what are you thinking about the steps in the middle?
Yeah. So the first thing, as far as what needs to happen, is I've broken it out into 5 steps.
Mm-hmm.
First step is the analysis. Second step is the elimination. Third step is what I would call the replacement phase. Fourth step is going to be the embrace phase, where after you replace something, adapt the new behavior or adapt whatever. Now you have to embrace it. And then the fifth step is actually like the thriving stage, where and guys, don't try and take my stuff. This is my little patented stuff. I'm kidding with you guys.
No,
so
actually, that's an important point, because we are in a bit of a mastermind, if you haven't noticed. So yeah, and I believe in the terms and conditions which you've all accepted by being a part of this course, that privacy and confidence is a key part.
Yep. So it's a five-step process where, like I said, I do the analysis. They're going to go through it, so they'll have a very, very clear idea of what, the who, what, when, why, and how, of why the fear is there, why they feel the rejection, being able to recognize the criticism, understanding more or less themselves and their environment around them. And then once you do that, then the second part of it is the elimination. Like, all right, now we're going to start to eliminate these negative thoughts, the behaviors, and even people or things, anything that's contributing to them not being able to reach their goals. It's gone. The third part of it, since you've eliminated something, now we got to replace it with something else. Otherwise, it's going to basically, you can easily revert back to what I call the mean. You can revert back to it. So we put something else in place to to fill that hole or that void. And once that's in place, then we teach them how to embrace what they currently have. So it becomes beyond the habit. It becomes like their lifestyle, their way of being. So that's the embrace part. And then the final stage is the thriving. So this is where they really jump in with both feet, and they have to either A, get a mentor, B, teach someone else and pay it forward, or C, get some additional education and training, just whatever it is to solidify it. So it becomes something, that's a way of life. So the likelihood of them losing the habit or lifestyle is very slim. So they won't experience fear, failure, rejection, criticism. When that happens, they'll know, exactly how to deal with it.
That's great. And then that leads very nicely into an upsell product that's like a group coaching or a mastermind, like stay on.
It's exactly it.
35,000, 15,000, depending on what your price point is and what your target audience wants to pay you. Awesome. That's perfect.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Yep. That's what I was thinking.
Good. Do you have a question? Are you good? Are you have any questions, Renard? Are you good?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to someone else at this point.
No.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I don't have, I'm really just trying to hone in on like the top three challenges as far as, when I look at this list, I'm like, all right, what are the top three things that everyone experiences? And I have an idea, and I kind of want people's opinion. So I'm thinking fear, failure. When I think about people starting a business, especially coaching or any other business, so I'm leaving my my comfy capital markets job, and this coaching is going to be my full-time deal. And so I'm actually executing a 12-month, what I call a 12-month corporate detox plan. So I'm in month 4 of the plan, and there was initially this fear of failure that I experienced, and I quickly overcame that. And, so I think the fear of failure, the self-doubt was a huge thing, and then of course distractions. Those were my top 3. But I'm curious to find out what other people find is their top 3 challenges as far as like starting something. Anybody
is that bringing up anything for anybody they'd like to share with Renard?
Yeah, actually, yes. As a Jay, I took a break from corporate for 8 months, and I started coaching, and I ended up going back to corporate, right? And I call it a day job. So one of the challenges that I had was lack of structure, because what I found is that because I worked in corporate pretty much all of my life, I found it quite difficult to a challenge. I'll say that I resolved was to create structure around having my days not dictated by someone else. So that was probably one of the biggest ones. And I remember I was getting coached coach in it as well. The other thing that came out of it as well is that there was a lot of thinking happening because of the same thing, the structure. So that's where a lot of things get questioned, mindset and stuff like that, decisions that have to be made left or right, or stay as I was. That's probably was the second biggest one. And another one that was coming up as well is that I found it after I was probably 4 months into my break. I started enjoying just exploring and living life without, I suppose, limitations around it, right? So, and then maintaining focus on what was important was somewhat difficult because, there was so much to explore. I was doing a lot of reading and everything else, and that seemed more important at times. So that's probably 3 big ones. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
I appreciate you telling me that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
cool. That sounds like some good overlaps with what you're using a little bit of different language, but distraction and structure, those really relate together. I was hearing drive, like lack of mission or lack of clear mission, maybe. And then the mindset, which is, that kind of encapsulates a lot of.
Yeah, I'll put that in there too.
Terry, you have anything
Yeah,
you want to
motivate.
add?
In terms of transitioning from kind of that corporate to being a business owner, I know one of the big things that always comes up is, and I don't know if you had mentioned it, you may have mentioned it already, Renard, though, was from a time management standpoint. Not so much the structure that Jay was talking about, but most people really underestimate the amount of time that is required when you are a business owner. They think, hey, I'm just going to roll out of bed and everything's going to start coming to me. So they underestimate the workload, and you work significantly more typically just kind of starting out than you did when, most people did when they were in their corporate job.
So the reality of it.
That's right.
Renard's cheeky grin.
No, it's funny. I've had my business. I've been a business owner since 2002, and one of my businesses now, a martial arts business. It's supposed to be part time, and it's nowhere near part time. I'm going as soon as I leave off this call, I'm going to go over there, and I'll be there, for like 3 hours. It's supposed to be my time away.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Did anybody else want to add anything? We're getting to that time where we need to start wrapping up. Okay, Renard, what takeaways? How are you feeling about, I guess, completing this exercise and progressing with your program?
I don't have any concerns. I've really thought about this quite a bit, and I'm clear on what kind of actions are like the end goal that I want them to have, and that's actually part of my selling proposition when I talk to people.
Yeah. I think you're gonna ace it. You're so charismatic anyway, and then you're tying in this like really analytical process sounding system into what you're doing. I think the one thing, if I could give you a little bit of a stretch, is to just practice tying in those keywords you got from your point A diagram into each of your 5 steps when you're talking about it. Just rehearse that. Because you got to pull it back to their language, because otherwise it's just you being really compelling and they're buying that, which they're going to do anyway. But if you can tie it into that pain point, each step, like in the analysis phase, we're going to look at all your self-doubts. We're going to analyze all your fears. We're going to look at all the places you've been rejected in the past. We're going to nail all of your critics and know exactly who they are. And then in step 2, we're going to give you some absolute gold strategies to tackle all of those and lay them to rest forever. Like, do you see how if you weave?
Look at Benet. Look at Benet go. This lady's on fire. Look at her. Oh my gosh, look at you.
Yeah.
I said this was her
Benet.
thing. On fire.
Look at her. Look, she can't help herself.
Yeah, she's amazing. What she was doing when we were on the call with her was just it was amazing.
Yeah. So just
Looking for me.
thank you, Renan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, so do you see? I think that was a
All
good
right.
demonstration to how all of you can use those point A's once you map out your steps, which is it's all coming for you. It's all there because you can always tease out those steps from point A. Like I have, it always works. It always works. And if it doesn't, just get
Yeah.
on a call with me and we'll make it work because it's there. Okay. So I think that would be the only stretch I'd give you, Renard, but your program sounds
No,
awesome.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's all coming together really beautifully. Okay, we do need to start wrapping up. There were a couple of admin things I wanted to cover before we close. First of all, before we leave this, does anybody have any burning questions they need to be able to get them through to next week before we move into admin and just talking about spreadsheets and stuff? Okay, everybody's good. Can I get a thumbs up from everybody who's on video? Okay, we got, yay. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so let me just flick over to my list. So Sylvie proposed to that she would like a little bit more time. She doesn't want me to post the videos on Monday. She'd actually prefer that they're posted like tomorrow. Is that, is that a thumbs up from everybody? You like that idea? Okay, so we're
Yeah,
gonna be
100%.
Okay, we're going to be moving into mud maps next, which is basically taking these steps and then teasing it out. Does everybody, so this now brings me to the next admin thing, which is the spreadsheets. So we've got two spreadsheets happening. One is your creative process tracker, and that's now on version 4 because I always have these brain waves and want to add new tabs into it. So I apologize for that, but it allows me to be more innovative and whatever. But the one thing, for those of you who have started a previous version, if you just go, you can add just the tab that I've added in. You don't have to replace the whole thing if I'm starting to drive you nuts. Okay, does everybody have that spreadsheet? The SSP, which stands for Successful Signature Program Creative Process Tracker. That is absolutely everything I teach in one spreadsheet so that you don't have to go digging all over the place for all these different worksheets. It's like a little bit scary for me because it's all my gold in one place, but at the same time, it makes your life so much easier and I just trust you with it. So does everybody have that? Let's have a thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay, everybody's got it. Okay, cool. And then the next one is the planning one that I actually introduced in my welcome video. And that's just the Google Docs spreadsheet so that we can all look at that and see where everybody is. So I'm just going, so that you all know that I'm holding you accountable, I'm gonna see if I can do a little share screen. Sorry, not this one. Let's move that over there. I've got a couple of masterminds that I run, so I've got to find the right one. Academy. Okay, I'm just going to share this because I want everybody to know that we are actually, is this actually going to work? Can you guys see this spreadsheet? Close this.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys see it? Okay, so you can see Anique. She's week 1. She's done her 3 steps. Atia and Dwayne, I know they've done it. Emmerich, but they haven't filled it in yet. So you guys go ahead and fill that in. And this is just so you can all see how everybody's actually tracking really well. Grady's put all of his questions that he asked out there and done some really great analysis. So thank you for that. Renard still's got some blanks. Sylvia's still got some blanks. Takita's still got some blanks. Terry's still got some blanks. I know you guys have done more of the work because you've been really active. Oh, Terry's in there twice. Sorry, Terry. You are there, so I take that back. Okay, so I just want to make sure this is us holding each other accountable to this high standard so we can always go in here and update. So you can see for week 2, we've got the A to Z diagram, and next week we're going to be working on the signature program mud map, and I'll have that lesson out to you hopefully by tomorrow. Okay, so that was me, just my little admin stuff. Is there any other admin, system-y stuff that we need to talk about just so that everything's really working for you guys?
What's the decision on the video posting?
I'm going to do it tomorrow.
You're going to post week
Yeah.
3 or you're gonna...
I'm going to post week 3. That's what you guys want, right? Is the next lesson like ASAP? Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah, but we still need to work on week 2.
You still need to work on week 2. So I'm not really changing my schedule. I'm just giving you guys more time. Like, because actually Renard is ready. He needs the next lesson. And a couple of you, like the A to Z diagrams actually just takes an hour. So you're actually ready to move on after that. Okay. Any other admin questions? Okay, last but not least, I'm loving seeing all of you in that engagement in Facebook. For those of you who are using it, are you getting some value out of that between meeting? Yeah. I'm getting a thumbs up. And I think Terry and Jay even had a conversation about, was it you two? Oh no, it was you and Emmerich. Was it you and Emmerich? You're on mute.
Trey.
It was,
Me and
oh,
Trey.
it was Trey. It was Trey, who's not here. Yeah, Trey's on a plane, of course. But he'll get the recording. He's going to be able to make 2 live meetings, and then in a month or so, he'll be on all the calls again. Anyway, but he's getting value out of it, and that the Facebook group is really helpful for him. So please do play in there, ask your questions. There is heaps of support, heaps of interaction. Yeah, I'm really proud of all of you. You're all kicking butt. So just keep doing what you're doing, okay? Let's do our ending. I love doing the acknowledgement. So let's go around. I'm just going to call on you, and I'd just like you to acknowledge yourself, the group, for something for this week. Takeda, kick us off.
I just want to acknowledge you, Benay. I just love watching you in your element. It just inspires us. Not only, that we can do this, but that we're in the right place. So
Awesome.
I want to thank Anik and Bernard and Grady and everybody that talked today and that kind of helped us put everything together. Atia and Dwayne, your presentation was awesome. I listened to it like twice because I was like, okay, if I could listen to it, then maybe I can get to mine, which it did help me do all the A's, but I'm still going for the Z, which I'll talk to you one-on-one about that, Benay. So great job, everybody. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Takeda. Sylvie.
Well, I really want to acknowledge everybody and the participation that we have all over the place, whether on Messenger or on Facebook. And I really want to acknowledge myself because since yesterday to today, I really kicked my butt to get to that A to Z, and then I did the 6th lesson, and then the first 3 module with the lessons underneath, and I went through all that in 2 days, and it was tough, and I kept pushing myself to do it anyway. So
Awesome. Congratulations, Sylvie. Grady.
Thanks.
Oh, well, I tell you, the whole night, not anybody in particular, it was actually everybody, really helped the whole A to Z process come together for me. So thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Grady. Bernard.
No, I would say that today I was going to say something about the group, but I'm going to channel it to you. You really helped me at that last minute. You're a clutch shooter. You helped me bring together my pitch on how to really tie things in, and I think everyone else witnessed your genius. So thank you. That's what I needed. And I'm glad that the money was well spent with you.
Thanks, Bernard. Thank you. Yeah, it's nice when those moments just like, woof, this is it. It's there. I can see it. Awesome. Terry.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wanted to acknowledge you, Benay, because when we had our discovery call, I shared with you. So you are my 4th coach in a year. And in 2 weeks, I have come further with you in terms of developing a program than the other, 13-week, 6-month programs and, online programs. So I am so thankful for what you put together. And I'm so thankful that it's an intimate group and not a group of 40. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Terry. Thank you. All right. Dwayne. And we haven't heard much from you, but I know you're here as Atia's other half of that program. Do you want to say anything? Maybe he's not really there. Don't know. Okay, we'll come back to you. Anik.
Well, I want to thank everybody because even working on somebody else, it brings a lot of light for me. So I know I'm somebody who needs to think but feel most of the time. And when I get those 2 things aligned, and also with your insights, Benay, I'm sure I'm going to find all my missing details. But I really like the sharing of the group because I get a lot of insights for myself through the discussions of others.
Yeah, definitely. It's the power of a mastermind kind of setup, which I love. Jay. Is he there? We might skip Jay, who might be, who knows where. Atia?
I would just like to say ditto to what everyone is saying about you, Benay. It is so awesome to, like they said, watch you in your element. And I just want to say, I truly learn something from everyone on the call each time we're on the call. So I just want to say I love this group.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was building it and putting all of you guys together, I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till they meet each other. It's so awesome. Okay. Thank you, Atia. Jay or Dwayne, either of you want to come on, please do. If you don't, then we'll just wrap up. Well, I would like to, I'll do my little bit. I'd like to just acknowledge everybody who helped Anik and Jay specifically on tease out. I know we spent some good time on them, and that investment's going to come back to you tenfold, because when it's your turn and you're really stuck and you need that help, the whole group's here to support you. And I love how everybody was really present and really assisted. I think we got some really, I believe that we helped them move forward, and that combined effort was even better than I could have done on my own. So thank you very much for your wisdom. Specifically, especially Grady and Renard's, you just brought out some really key things that really triggered some new stuff. So thank you. All right, we're going to wrap up there, guys. I'll make this recording available as soon as I can. I'm having file size issues, but we're getting there. All right, have a great day, everyone, and happy coaching.
Bye.
Bye.